All right. Call this meeting to order of legislative on Monday, June the 9th at 5:30 p.m. Chairman Hyde, would you mind saying the invocation?
Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we pray, Lord, that you will bless this meeting as we prepare to do your work for this great county of ours. Guide and direct us in every decision that we make. We pray in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Before we approve the agenda, I have a request for a certificate of recognition from Miss Annie Nelson. She got recognition nationally for Remarkable Woman of the Year for her work with Veterans Services, and so she lives here locally, and so without objection, I'll add that as item F under 10. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with that addition? Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Have a motion for minutes approval? Motion by Commissioner Miller. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Recognition of the public. Mr. Tom Mathis. State your name and address for the record keeper, please, and you have 5 minutes.
Just stand.
Yeah, you can sit there. Thank you. Stand, yeah.
Tom Mathis, and I live at 144 Captain Bell Lane here in Gallatin. Been in Sumner County about almost 40 years, and so I'd like to address the issue related to the tax proposed tax increase on real properties. I started out as a real estate investor about almost 50 years ago, early in my career, and have worked by rear end along with my wife, trying to get an early retirement, which we successfully did, and to be able to work a full-time job, go on Friday night, change clothes, and go back and work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to fix the property up, get it ready to re-rent, go back on Saturday all day, about 12, 14 hours, go to church on Sunday morning, back on Sunday afternoon, work on it, get it ready to go to rent. And when I started moving out to Sumner County, I started trying to move my properties out of Davidson County and other surrounding counties to Sumner. And this is quite a blow. Even in Davidson County, which has been known to be high tax property for years, they do not charge commercial rates on single family homes. They only charge, they do charge commercial rates on duplexes or apartment buildings, but not on single family homes. When I talked to the tax assessor's office, they told me that, well, we're not after you, you're just small time. I've got 8 rental properties, 8 renters that I rent to. Not all of them, still some in Davidson, some in Kentucky, and some here in Sumner. But this, the fact that just keep going up on the tax rates, we saw a huge tax rate 4 or 5 years back when it almost went up equal to Davidson County rates then. And currently, my tax rates in Sumner County is right close to the Davidson County rates. And I just find that very disappointing as a citizen here. So I don't know what that you all can do. Mayor, I just want to tell you, I'm very disappointed in you. I helped you make donations and actually helped campaign for you to get elected, and I left you a voice message to call me, and you never returned my call. Very disappointed. There's no excuse for that. But I appreciate the opportunity for what you all are doing. I don't know exactly how the law is going to play out, whether you all have what your position is, or whether you have any influence. But I appreciate the opportunity to share. As a 40-plus year resident of Sumner County, was in Hendersonville for about 20, and been in Gallatin now for about 20. It's not sure what options this leaves me to see if this goes to this rate, as to whether I continue to maintain properties. I think, I guess I'm taking too much time, but I think part of this thing is that landlords are not gonna absorb this cost. They're gonna pass it on, and it's gonna wind up going to the renters. So I don't know how that's gonna impact things. I mean, some of the things may be that some landlords may not be putting money into their property. There's a lot of landlords out there that don't keep their properties up. That's not me. I've had renters that stayed with me, one stayed with me 34 years. Several have stayed with me for over 20. Because I take care of my property, I treat them right, and that's the kind of person I am. But I appreciate the opportunity, Commissioner, to come and share. If there's any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer.
Right now, we want is public comment, but if time permits, the discussion item.
Okay.
Glad.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. All right. I think that concludes.
I do have one thing that I didn't,
Commissioner.
on the recognitions, we pushed one forward from last month, it's not on here, that Hope Jewel.
Jewel, all right.
And it was just pushed from last month because she had to go out of town last minute, couldn't be here at the commission meeting. So it just didn't get put.
Put back on, okay, that's fine, we won't take a vote or anything, we'll just add that Hope Jewel, and that was for the bowling.
I think we've already, this committee's already approved it, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just wanted to, so that it makes it to the, make a note so it makes it, yeah, it's already been approved, it just didn't get.
Is
Gotcha.
that something you make a note of, or Jennifer?
Yeah.
Jewel.
One L or
She
two.
went to state, she was a state qualified,
One L or two.
2 L's
All right.
from beach.
All right, report of the chairman, I have none. Report of the county mayor.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Old business, item A, 3-star program. I'll make a motion for discussion.
So moved.
Second by Commissioner Miller. All in
Sorry,
favor, say aye.
second.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for getting this sent out to us. I did have a question about the goals of what this is. I was a little confused. On page 67, it talks about a short-term goal for Conference Hall Convention Center. Are we talking about county government building a conference hall convention center, or what is this a goal about in this smart guy one?
I'm not familiar with that one, I apologize. Scrolling to it now.
Yeah, I mean, it talks about, there was three goals. Some was from workforce development, one was for child care at all Sumner County schools, and the one that, like an innovation center, which is child care for schools, education workforce development, which is connecting talent to industry, and then the third one was a conference hall convention center. I'm just,
Yeah, this is just something that, that as the group was talking, they were talking about, hey, we'd like to see a conference center, or convention center in Sumner County to attract more people. It's in no way obligating the county. There's been no talk of funding one or even discussing funding one right now. That came out of the discussion of that group.
well, this is kind of been a hypersensitive topic, especially with around the Coma Barn, first term, specifically we had event center owners such as Epic, Bagsby Ranch. There is also a large one that used to be called the Hendersonville Expo Center. That is a large convention center. The space, these owners were not very keen on the government
I'm
taxpayers
not an
funding.
advocate of the government entering the private sector either.
So, but what, I don't understand how this grant, I'm just, this one concerns me. Considering we already have convention centers or event centers here in Sumner County, and this is a government grant with taxpayer money with a goal of building conference hall convention centers as one of the stated guidelines. So
It would not be going towards a convention center.
Commissioner Gunn?
Question. So is this something we pass, we vote to pass?
Well, the request is to apply for the grant.
I would not be for it in its present form. If they wanted to restate a third goal to something different, just there's vagueness there also with the terminology of The second paragraph under that during the 2025 3-star program, Sumner County leaders will commence a planning and feasibility study phase for the potential construction of a conference hall. So who are the Sumner County leaders? It doesn't say commissioners. And we've had other Sumner County leaders do other things outside of our purview. We've learned recently that Sumner County leaders are meeting to study mass transit. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. It wasn't county commissioners meeting for that. So what Sumner County leaders will be doing this? I would like to see them restate their goals and reapply for their request to do the grant, but I'm not going to vote for anything to allow them to do that if this is their goals.
I can't support this with the way it's written because this is a goal, so I mean, it's part of the grant process, so I mean.
It's a short-term goal. So it's,
Yeah, it is a short-term goal. It's a long-term goal as well. It's the long-term goal, I believe is repeated on page 70. Yeah, it's short-term and long-term goal.
but they're meeting this year to discuss planning and feasibility for this conference hall.
Mr. Mayor, do you know, who are the Sumner County leaders that this refers to?
There's been no committee formed to research this.
Which leads us to believe there could be a committee or Forward Sumner or some type of other organization.
Who wrote this goal?
This was a compilation of research that was done. We did a focus group on it, and these were the ideas came out of that focus group. ECD put this together.
ECD for who? Galveston?
No, Sumner County.
Who's the Sumner County ECD?
No, the ECD is the state.
You're talking about the state's ECD.
Yeah.
What's ECD mean?
Economic Community Development. That flagged me on that one. That's why I appreciate you providing this, but I mean, it's not something I can support with this way it's written, but that's just me.
That's fine.
Commissioner Miller?
I make a motion to not do this. However, that needs to be stated.
I mean, you can do that, make a motion to reject it, or just not make a motion to approve it.
Okay, well, then.
If we do nothing, it just goes away until somebody asks for it to come back, or?
I don't know.
It can always come
Commissioner
back.
Beck?
Yeah, until somebody
I
motions
would-
it to come back.
Unless, I mean, I agree with what the concerns for sure. And I mean, it sounds like we all are agreeing or stating that we're not in favor of a convention center or whatnot. So my question is, if it has to be a goal, which what it appears that it has to be, because it's written in there, then if that's the only option, then I agree, we don't take any action. But if it's possible to remove that or change the goal, then maybe we can just leave it on old business. But I don't want to leave it on old business if that's not even an option. If that makes sense.
Do we even know who to contact to say, I mean, we don't even know who wrote this or who made the goals or like who we even send it back to say, can you change it? Like, we don't even know where these ideas came from. Sounds like.
Well, the mayor brought it up, so could we do the motion or just a request to ask the mayor to
If we need any
have
action,
them
if they want to come back.
relook at that? We're not gonna do anything with it as it is, and just have him talk to them and see if they want to resubmit it under new goals. That way there's no action by the committee and we just request the mayor
There's no
to ask.
motion on the table, so.
I'll make a recommendation, leave it under old business. And if it's not any different next month, we can just forget about it at that point. That's my recommendation.
We have a motion from Commissioner Becker. Do we have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Hyde. Any more discussion on that? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carried unanimously. Keep that on hold. We're going to keep on hold business.
Veteran service.
All right, item Item A is a veteran service report and presentation.
I don't see him
It's in here, page 78.
here. Oh, I see Jeff. I
Um,
don't see him here.
Oh, I don't see Jeff here, so I don't think there's any action to take on that, so that'll move on to the new full commission.
There's supposed to be a presentation, so,
It's okay.
all right.
Item B, juvenile detention center contract with Wilson County. Do I have a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Are there any questions on this or for the water record?
Could you write it smaller?
Yes, sir. I think this is just more.
Is it continuation of
Yeah, I mean,
existing?
there's nothing.
No changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, goes to the full commission. Item C, new business, highway personnel policy for docketing purposes only. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner
Second
Becker to
for
approve.
discussion.
Mine's motion to approve.
So,
Second.
I seconded it just so we could discuss.
okay. that's
I
fine.
just had something to say about it.
I thought you were making a different motion.
No, no.
All right, all in favor?
Well, I want to discuss.
Okay.
Second
Go
just
ahead.
opens up discussion, right, without the
Yep.
vote? Okay. So, in highway, I asked on behalf of Commissioner Boyd for a red line version of this policy, just so that the commissioners would have the opportunity to see what changed and what didn't change. I thought that was a fair point, rather than just ask somebody else's opinion on it. The law director has said that he's okay with it, and that there's no change to MOE or budget or anything like that. But there was questions from the public, and I think it's our job in committee to allow the public to hear things and to be able to ask questions on things. So I asked him prior to the meeting to bring a red line version. Superintendent Ellis did not. He said he would work on that, and then I asked him during the meeting, and again, he said he would work on it to have it for us here today. And I said, please email it between Highway Committee and this committee meeting so that we would have time to look at it to answer any questions. I still don't see anything in here. This probably isn't something to fight over, but I wanted to make a point that the people have asked a question. They asked a commissioner to ask a question. A commissioner asked me to ask a question. And we have a department head that's just refusing to give that information. I didn't think that was very fair. You guys can pass it through, if you want to, but I did want to say that our procedure's breaking down here and the public's not happy about it. As a chairman, I don't feel respected by the superintendent for not doing that, but just want to say all that. Y'all can vote however you want to.
Is Commissioner Boyd, she's not here tonight, is she, to speak to this?
No, but I did want to speak for her because she asked.
about it.
Obviously, people are asking, so
Well, we have a motion and a second to move it on to the full commission, I guess.
I'm just going to abstain from this one.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You got an abstention, so one abstention on that one. All right, we'll do that one. Hopefully Commissioner Boyd can get the answers to her questions before then.
Well, I say that again just so he'll maybe get it to the commission between now and the full commission. Maybe he'll still get the copy that she can see and everybody else
Right.
wants to see.
Well, item D is a discussion for property assessments and tax rate increase on residential rental properties. I'll make a motion for discussion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed for the discussion. Mr. Mathis had emailed me asking if I knew about the property assessor wanting to tax individual homeowners who own rental properties, their properties at a commercial rate versus a residential rate. And asked me if I knew anything about it, and I said no. So I asked our codes director, didn't know anything about it. Our planning director didn't know anything about it, and our law department didn't know anything about it. So it was definitely just in a silo of. And in your packet is some information from Mr. Mathis, emails from him, cases that our property assessor supposedly is sent to Mr. Mathis that's in the packet, as well as a letter from Mr. Hale, from Hale Realty, about his opposition to this as well on owning rental properties. Personally, I don't see where, it's questionable. I don't see how the property assessor has the authority to just arbitrarily start taxing citizens in a different way. I know he was bringing opinions from other places. I would see this more as a legislative function, in my opinion. That's why I wanted to bring it to this table to get people's thoughts. I'm personally not in favor of picking winners and losers when it comes to residential properties, saying, okay, this person owns X amount, so we're going to charge them commercial. And this person, small fish, they only own this, and it's a weighted scale and balance, in my opinion, personally. But so I just wanted to bring this before you guys to get your thoughts, or I think this is something that needs the commission to look at. Commissioner Becker.
Where did this all originate from? So is there's the state legislator has, like, do we even have a choice? Or is this something that they were mandated to do?
I don't see anywhere we're mandated to do this. That's why I'm questioning, like, where this came from.
I can probably get us to this point.
Okay.
A little history if you so
Yeah,
desire.
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I was unaware of this until I found out that this was being sent out by Mr. Hurt, these cases and this Attorney General opinion. So, we also have some appeals, tax appeals that are coming up. So Mr. Hurt and I were talking while we're trying to get an attorney lined up for these appeals. We address these issues in the cases he's using. What's happening is we've got several courts in this state that are making determinations on what the Constitution and what the statutes are saying as far as this would be considered industrial, which falls under commercial, which is what Mr. Hurt is moving these rental properties under. And I think it's under the basis that the owner is using it as income producing. However, my interpretation statutorily and constitutionally is that if it's one unit, whether it's being rented or not rented, is deemed residential, 2 or more pieces of rental units on one piece of property are considered industrial and commercial and can be assessed at that rate. We've got one case
Should be a
that
condo, an apartment, townhouse.
2 houses, 2 trailers, 2
Yeah.
mobile homes, yeah.
Two dwellings.
If it's 2 income producing,
Dwelling.
A duplex.
yes,
Yes.
unless the owner lives in one of them, one side. But that's really not applicable here. So of the cases he provided, there's one called the Castlewood case. It's tends to go down the road that one rental unit is residential and industrial is commercial, but there were, like every case, it's so fact specific that there were some issues going on with exactly how that property got divided up before it became individual parcels. Then we get to this one he brings up that's King of Kings, and this seems to be the one that a lot of counties in Tennessee are spinning on. They were able to try to drag in the fact that the property was income producing into the reclassification of the property into commercial or industrial. We've got an AG opinion on it, or Attorney General opinion on it, that kind of sides with the one rental unit is residential, 2 is commercial, and then there's a third one called Spring Hill. I only bring up these cases because they're the ones that the assessor's sending out, and they're bona fide cases to the matter at hand. It's just everybody's interpreting it differently. So I tell you all that to say this is ripe to go to the Supreme Court. Somebody's going to have to clean this mess up, and I don't know where that's going to fall as far as our appeals cases go. But we are spinning on the income producing and business owner side of whether a property is considered industrial versus the number of rental units on that parcel piece of property. And I've talked to Mr. Hurt and explained to him that this could go either way in the courts. I explained what I thought my position, what it should be, and but at the end of the day, the courts are gonna end up making a decision on this that it at least has some finality to it. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Jones?
Has it already happened, or is this proposed to happen, and when?
It's my understanding that they've already been classified as industrial.
Have they got their bills yet? for it?
I've got one, and I can't go too far down the rabbit hole without executive session, but I've got one where the single owner owns what I call scattered sites around the county, and it's probably 400 units, but they're all individual units on
One unit per parcel.
parcel.
It's
Yeah.
residential.
And they've all been classified as industrial and commercial.
So here's my problem, and you mentioned this, is, courts don't make law. And the state hasn't passed a law saying this is the case. It does sound to me unconstitutional and statutorily funky, in my opinion. I mean, again, you're picking winners and losers based on who the owner is, or how many they have. I mean, this is, to me, the black letter of the law. One residential unit per parcel. It's residential. I don't care if they own 1,000 of them or one. It's equal as equal, but I don't. So when this came to me, it was very surprising to hear this, because I'm like, immediately, my bristles went up on the constitutionality of it and legality of just doing that. But
And I will say this, not that it makes it okay, but other counties are starting to do this as well, because I guess they're not getting the pushback.
Allowing it, starting to allow it?
Well-
We're not just doing something unique here.
Commissioner Hyde.
I see the problem with this, and I sympathize with these people that have the property, but I'm wondering if we actually have the authority to tell the tax assessor how he classifies particular property. It's like the attorney says, I don't know if this is within our prerogative as I see it. Until a court does decide what can be done or what cannot be done. I don't think we could dictate how some of these, how one of these county heads could do something such as the assessor classifying property. We get into that, we'll really be up to our knees in a lot of detail work.
Commissioner Jones.
To Commissioner Hyde's point, like, at best, all we could do is a resolution asking him not to until an opinion comes down from a higher court, possibly, but it would just be like a strongly written letter, asking him not to, and it'd be voted upon. The issue that I see with it is it's going from 25 to 40%, and the speaker commented it will be passed along to the residents, and 15% in the big picture doesn't sound like a whole lot, but people's rent changes every few years, not every year, and this would require every single renter to get hit with a 15% increase immediately, and that would be huge if they start doing this.
And this is different, like impact fees or anything like that, because this is like an ongoing, continual thing, and it's not impacting anything. This doesn't impact services for county. This is just bringing more money to the county. It doesn't impact services versus, it's not like, it's different than somebody building a new
Adequate facilities
home.
tax or something like that.
Correct. I don't know, it's my opinion. I mean, my question is, to Mr. Hyde's point, can we do something, or I'm of the opinion of telling the property assessor not to do it, because to me, it's pretty black and white. I see things pretty binary in black and white. this to me, it just seems like an egregious overreach, but that's just my opinion on it. That's why I wanted to bring it to this body to see what the will of the body would be.
Can I ask our law director, Mr. Sittler, is what I said correct? Basically, the only thing we could do is possibly a resolution asking him not to until a higher court.
I don't know what authority the commission has over.
It wouldn't be no authority.
I
just a
understand that, so I
request.
can't answer your question because I don't know exactly where your authority begins or ends in this instance.
But we don't have to have authority to write a resolution.
No,
asking
you can do
somebody,
suggestive
right?
resolutions all day long.
That's
but,
what I'm saying. That's all I'm
I just don't feel comfortable answering unless I can tell you where exactly it does end, but yes, you can do suggestive resolutions.
So if we don't do anything, this is gonna hit homeowners.
It's already doing it now, right? It's already.
They've already been hit. The
We're finding out
homeowner-
after the fact. So,
Is that what happened here? Like, the tax bill was received and like, that's
Yes.
the first they knew about it?
if we want to suspend the rules, I'm just
Yeah,
going to have to answer
yeah,
some
motion
questions.
suspend.
Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Becker, second by Commissioner Jones, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Matheson, come on.
You can I just stand here?
Yeah, you're fine.
Well, I haven't received the tax bill showing. But when I had I was made aware of it, I had the conversation with a call for tax assessor's office and asked for the tax assessor would you please return the call. His deputy returned the call to me. We had a very lengthy conversation. I was assured that they're really not after me. They're after the big corporations and the LLCs.
The multiple,
All right, but if I can continue.
yeah.
So I let him explain the situation, and I said, okay, I hear you. So at the end of it, I asked him, I said, are you telling me that after you get past this year one and you do the LLCs and the corporations, that the tax assessor of Sumner County, you all don't have any intentions of coming after anybody else who owns 2 or more rentals? He got real quiet and he finally said, no, I'm sure we will. So the answer to that, now, if I could also add some clarification, because I own properties in other counties. I haven't been hit from any notification anywhere else. Davidson County is the leader in the property taxes. I think we all can probably agree. They charge for duplexes. I own 2 duplexes in Davidson County. But they do not charge for single-family homes if you own 1 or if you own 20. And I think in Sumner County, we're way out of line, because in my questioning of the deputy with the tax assessor's office here in Sumner County, they basically, are making the statement again that they're after the LLCs and the big corporations. And I'm like, how's that a tax assessor's? I don't believe that falls under the law anywhere in the tax assessors really to determine that kind of thing. That they're responsible to set taxes on property, not where it's a corporation or LLC or whoever. I don't particularly like corporations and LLCs major coming in here owning a large amount of property either. But that's my dislikes. Doesn't mean it's illegal. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. I'd be happy to answer any more, but I just feel like that they're gonna hit us one way or the other.
Specifically, the question was asked, have you got a bill yet? Do you know when the bill is coming, if it will, or?
I was
They
told
give you any indication?
by the tax assessor's office that I would not be charged this year. So I had actually was trying to determine if I could, if I had a claim to join in with other investors who are planning to file a lawsuit. I think the lawsuit's probably already been filed, but you may know more, I don't know the details, but that's what I've had some conversation from bigger investors, people who are representing them.
Did he say whether or not the multiple dwelling on a single property owners have been hit with a bill yet?
Well, that's a different story, Tim. That's not the same conversation.
No, there was a
You have multiple bottom.
there was a judgment on which ones it would affect,
Yeah.
or both, and he said it hasn't affected him yet. I wondered if the assessor said it had already affected the other one.
But
yet.
apparently, if I can answer your question, The other person I have been dialogue with, John Hurt's the assessor, excuse me, the person that wrote him the letter to start with. Danny Hale with Halo Realty. Danny represents quite a few investors, and he's part of the lawsuit. He's got a lawsuit going forward because, and I don't think he would have filed it had he not gotten notice of his increase. So that prevented me from, but I'm just trying here to bring it to y'all's attention. I just feel like it'll be headed off, hopefully before we can get to that level of unfair, what I consider unfair treatment. If I got a duplex in Sumner County, which I don't, but if I did, and you charged me, I guess I could, say, well, I'm doing it in Davidson County, I can sort of see the consistency. But Davidson County right now, I don't see no intentions that they're gonna be charging this rate for single-family residential houses on a single lot.
So to be clear, currently right now with your rental properties, you do not have an LLC.
Do not.
Protection, which typically a lot of people do. If you have two houses, get an LLC for $500 or $300 annual report, and you get your protection, and you're not personally liable. So if you were in an LLC and you had two residential rental properties in Sumner County, based on what the assessor's property told you, they would be charging you the commercial rate
This
just
year.
because you got an investment property.
This year, that's what he told me.
Yeah. I just, so, any other questions for Mr. Mathis?
And again, thank you all for just the opportunity to be here and share. I appreciate it.
Commissioner Allen?
Mr. Chairman, I once again say that I fully sympathize with hardworking people like this gentleman trying to do the best you can to make a living and do it right, honestly. But I don't see that we have any authority whatsoever. I think the tax assessor, quite frankly, could tell us to go fly a kite because he can classify his property within the law the way he wants to. And I think what Tim is saying is closer, Commissioner Jones is saying is closer to what we could do in making a recommendation, but I don't think we can go beyond that.
No, I agree. I don't think we can either, but, and that's what I want to investigate. Is there anything we can do? Is it statutorily? I'm not sure. I would like to have the law director do that. So I would like to put forward a resolution asking the property assessor not to, but do we want to do that this month or next month? Give you a little more time to research statutes, or do you not need any more time? Pretty clear on this.
It's already happened, so we would be asking him to go backwards
Yes.
on what he's already implemented, which we already have existing issues we're gonna be dealing with on this. I don't know that there's any sense jumping on this until we've gotten everything fixed, because, or at least the courts have made a determination that's solid.
Are you familiar with the lawsuit that's been filed against the assessor's office?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any details if we need to go in executive session you can share this, or is that just not right for a conversation right now?
It's really not ripe at the moment, but I am looking for the best way to get representation for that.
Commissioner Dunn?
If it goes on, I know it just started, but if it goes on too long, it's something that's harder and harder to take back once income starts being earned and expected. Our job is to represent the people, and the only way we can affect any kind of change with that office would be to send a resolution, and if he chooses not to listen to it, or if other commissioners don't choose to support it, that's when the people speak and vote.
My recommendation, if we wanted to, would be a resolution just asking the property assessor to consider
Second.
suspending this. Got a second by Commissioner
If-
Becker. Just in asking him to suspend this until this is settled. But go ahead.
I would be in support of that, but is there something we could ask our law director to ask the state what their intention was when they wrote this to allow this?
What the state
Or is it just a
court-
reinterpretation of something that's old? Is that what it is?
It's it's people that have taken this to court, and it's a bunch of different court interpretations of how to
It's not
apply
a
it.
state.
So they're trying to interpret something differently that has been existing for a long time. So therefore,
You
they're
got
acting on
three
it.
courts seeing it three different ways.
But nothing changed with the way the law was written. It's just
Correct.
somebody decided,
It's their
Push
judicial.
what's allowable.
It's judicial legislation, in my opinion.
well, I'm saying assessors realize that they could possibly and are, and it's being challenged. It's nothing changed that allowed them to do this. It's just an interpretation.
Well, and with Sumner County, all of this happened right on the back end of a reappraisal year too.
Right.
So that people were probably paying closer attention to that.
Okay. I like the resolution that's out there.
Mr. Baker?
So, reading on page 99, it was the letter, the email from Mr. Mathis. It said, Sumner County was chosen as the first county to implement. I'm curious, is that,
I missed that.
Good question.
was that our assessor just, like, were they chosen? Can we suspend the rules again to
Yeah,
get
got a
clarification?
motion to suspend,
Second.
second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Matthew, would you mind clarifying the statement in your email?
Yes, that was per my conversation with the, per my notes, if I'm correct, Stephen Ward, Chief Deputy of the Sumner County Tax Assessor's Office, was the one that told me that. And I asked specifically if we were what the status was with Sumner County, the first one, and they said, the response I got was yes, we're the first county
So,
to do it. We're
we're
doing-
possibly
trying
the
to do a
first
pilot
one
now.
to just do it, or somehow was there, to your knowledge, we were chosen by somebody to do
I
it?
don't think anybody could choose Sumner County. I came out of state government and out of working at the federal government level. I don't think anybody can choose the county from the state level.
Well, your email said that they were chosen, so that's why I was
Well,
curious.
that may, I probably was using the words that he gave me or.
All right, so, okay, thank you.
But sorry, but that's.
I got you.
We
So
could-
it sounds to me that possibly.
Is that all for Mr. Mathis?
Yes.
I'll bring this back in session.
So it sounds to me it's possibly that our property assessor has
Chosen.
decided to,
Take the initiative.
yeah, to do it, and maybe is one of the first ones to do it, but it sounds like probably all the counties could start doing it, and he on his own decided to go forth with it. So I'm in favor of this resolution. I don't know if we can do anything about it, but I'm in favor of the
Asking
resolution.
politely.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Any more discussion?
I like the resolution too, but, and we could go ahead and do it and get it set up for the full commission. In the meantime, if the assessor wants to come forward with more information that would change or amend it, then he can, but I'm for going with the resolution.
All right, Mr. Law Director, we can work on that to get a resolution to the full commission for the June 30th.
Need to vote.
Just making sure you don't have any
So
questions.
you're wanting to suspend?
A request for him to
your request is
suspend any
suspend-
further implementation of his new policy,
Until the ruling comes.
subject to, I would say, I don't know, do we want to ask for the Attorney General's opinion on this? I mean, has anybody?
He has it. He has the
Oh,
Attorney
that's in
General
there.
opinion.
There is an Attorney
Okay, I do miss
General
that.
opinion.
Well, I guess they would just wait till see what happens with the court case at this point, since we have a lawsuit against us actively.
Yeah.
Any other, is that clear enough?
Yes, sir.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move that to the full commission. Item E is HB 2426 and SB 2261 about adequate facility taxes that passed out of Gen Ops to legislative. I'll make a motion for discussion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I did ask Commissioner Klein to come and just kind of share a little bit on this, because he had asked me to put this on the Gen Ops agenda. So if we, motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Klein, you wanted to explain a little bit about this?
Okay, this law is very new, recently done by the state, and it increases the adequate facilities tax from 70 cents, which was implemented in 1999,
On residential.
for residential, and 40 cents for commercial and industrial per square foot on new construction. This was all done by private act in 1999. And so this would bring it up to $1.50 on all new construction, residential, industrial, and commercial. Now, a few statistic points. In the year 2000, $1 was worth $1 today, it would take $1.86 to make that same. So it's almost, the value of $1 has almost been cut in half since then. The price per square foot on the house in Sumner County was right around $100. In 2025, it's 223, so that's 2.25 times more.
That might be a lowest.
Yeah, and you know what, you go online and you get the best numbers you can. The median house in Sumner County was in the year 2000, 139,000. Today it's 440,540. So what that tells me is that houses have outgrown even the inflation value of $1. So my point is that just like in 1913 when income tax was implemented, that was supposed to be for anybody who made $600 or more in a year. Well, the vast majority of human beings in 1913 made under $600 a year. And that also went with one employer, $600 for one employer in a year's time. That's still at $600. So that's like a week's pay now. And so the fact of the matter is that we just don't keep up with what's going on as far as increasing costs based on inflation. So when I saw that this law was brought in, it doesn't take care of, doesn't even come close to taking care of the costs that right now the citizens of Sumner County are, we're basically subsidizing all new construction, probably to the tune of about 95%. This will reduce it some. Now, just to let you know, if you took a 3,000 square foot house today, at 70 cents, which is what we're charging, it's $2,100 is the adequate facilities tax. Take it up to $1.50, it's $4,500. That's a great increase for the schools, because this money all goes to schools, which means we have the ability to use that money in the county, the general account, or we can, it will help us postpone property tax increases in the near future. So when it comes to commercial or industrial, say a 10,000 square foot building, at 40 cents is $4,000. At $1.50, it's $15,000. So we're talking about substantial increases depending on how many permits were pulled. I think this will change the dynamics. We're trying to do several things here in the county. We're trying to postpone property tax increases. We're needing to build more schools, probably the first one in Castalian Springs, since Gallatin is so overloaded as far as students go. So this will help us do some of those things. I think most of the commissioners would say that when they were campaigning, controlling the growth and maybe slowing it down, the traffic, the costs of infrastructure like police, fire department, EMS, this might slow all of that down a little bit. I mean, we're a county of finite geographic area. We can't just keep taking people in, keep taking people in. We've been doing that for a long time, well over 30 years. So my whole take on this is that, being a former developer myself, the commercial and industrial real estate investments are more lucrative in most cases than residential. I would, in building a commercial or an industrial development, I would have taken an increase like this in stride. Residential, it might be a little bit different, but here again, the developers are going to pass this on to the ultimate purchaser or renter, and the law of supply and demand will take over here. The thing we need to do as county commissioners is we need to do what's in the best interest of the people. Currently, the people are subsidizing massively all new construction. This will help change that a little bit. As a comparison, in Corona, California, the current price per square foot on impact fees, which we're not allowed to do in the state of Tennessee, is $19 a square foot and $4.08 for schools. So typically for a 3,000 square foot house, the impact fees in Corona, California would be about $70,000. So we're still way, way under that. And I think this is because just the value of the dollar being less than it was, you know, or being $1.85 now, which it takes $1.85 to buy $1 worth of stuff from 1999. I think this is a totally reasonable thing to do, and I would be totally in favor of us going ahead and moving forward on this, since by law we're allowed to do it now. We haven't been until this law was passed. And I can answer any questions.
I have a question, but I'll direct it to the chair, just but if you can answer, if you can. Commissioner Klein mentioned that all of this goes to the schools.
School debt, 100% of the average facility tax services school debt.
So, does it trigger? Could it possibly? Maybe the chairman of education committee also could chime in. Does it trigger the schools to ask for even more because now there's going to be more available, or is it for the commission to use to fund the budget and we still control that with what they request? Because I saw last year the school director asked for more because they saw a uptick in a trend for income, for revenue, and they were counting money differently than what the budget chair was counting, and so they wanted more because they saw more coming in. It wasn't about needs, it was about because we have more, we want more. With already 75 to 80% of revenue going to schools, how do we control that?
I don't know, maybe I see this a little differently. This adequate facilities tax by law is only for, it's either going to go to the general fund or it's going to go to school debt. Can't do both. So right now, Sumner County is committed 100%. Or it might be 50-50, I think actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I know right now, Sumner County is committed to 100% of adequate facilities taxes towards school debt. Problem is, Sumner County only brings in on average $2.8 million a year in adequate facilities tax. That's why Taylor called it an inadequate.
So it's always going to be short anyway.
So if you go to $1.50, you're bringing in maybe $5.86 million a year versus $2.8 to $3 million a year. So you effectively doubled it, but the double is not very much. It doesn't put much of an impact.
Yeah,
but
it still doesn't.
It doesn't keep, like Westmoreland, for example, has annexed, I know 800 acres in the past year and a half, and I think I was told recently 400 more acres. That's like 1,200 acres of county land that they've annexed to build new homes. And I've been told I've asked school administrators up there and people that's like, yeah, we're going to build new schools in Westmoreland because Westmoreland annexes county land. The county can't stop it. Westmoreland's going to build high-density residential. The county can't stop it. And then there's not enough money to pay for new school construction, and the county's got to tax everybody to pay for it. That's just kind of the vicious cycle we're in. So this is not going to. This is going to put a little bit of dent in it, which is good, like a robot, but it's not going to service the debt.
No, putting real numbers on it makes it make sense.
So, but that's kind of where we're at. I mean. If the county does want to do this, you're locked in for 4 years. You can't change it to make this decision. It's not reversible. For 4 years, the commission votes to do that. So
I support it.
I think it's needed personally, but it's as I told Mr. Slater when we talked to him about this a year ago. It's a Band-Aid, in my opinion. It's in the wrong bill. What we need is the repealing of the 2006 County Powers Relief Act, and rescinding of it, and so that counties can do what they need to do to take care of the counties, because each county's needs are different. So currently can't. Williamson County, as you can see, there's about $20,000 per house. On page 186 is a fee structure that our Marshall Wright, our coach director, had sent out to us, I believe, This, last year is when he sent this fee structure out, when we were going through the budget cycle. And I pulled this from my notes from budget. Also on page 186, it shows in Robertson County, they're already charging $1.50 a square foot. And their total fees are $5,700 a house. That's Robertson, our neighbor. Rutherford County, they're $1 per square foot for that fee. And their total fees, everything is $4,600, so they're lower than Robertson. Williamson County, they're approximately $20,000. Sumner County, we're at $3,400, and Wilson County, $6,750. And so out of neighboring counties surrounding Sumner County is way below, and I've talked to, I believe, Commissioner Klein, you mentioned when a developer is trying to put a lot of homes on your road, and his road, he's in the county, has 5-acre lot minimums as far as their covenants. And the developer's going to build high-density residential, and he asked him why he was coming up here. He said, because Williamson County has an impact fee, and I can do it cheaper up here. So it comes down to basic economics, but the problem is as you know, we keep having to raise taxes to pay for schools or school debt or school expansions, and we're going to have to do more. I mean, we're going to need them in Westmoreland, Gallatin, possibly. So we're not going to. It's unfortunate we have to deal with that, and I don't want to raise taxes on existing homeowners. This is a one-time fee for a new construction build that pays for the impact that that new house is. If everybody wants this new house, then they should have to pay for the impact from that new house, is my opinion. But
Yeah, to give you an idea, not to belabor the point, but Liberty Creek, we've been talking about that school system costing about $200 million. It houses has a maximum capacity of 3,600 students. That works out to about $56,000 per child. And the average in Sumner County right now is one child per household. So if you just extrapolate that out and say, for every house that's built, we're going to add one child. So every 3,600 homes, we need another $200 million if we're going to build something like Liberty Creek. $56,000 per child is a lot. And, you know, that house is going to last 50, 60, 70, 80 years. We don't know. But, you know, you can assume fairly enough that there will always be one child in that house. So that house will always be responsible for one student at our school systems. So I think the fact is that this is a Band-Aid. It's kind of throwing us a bone rather than fixing the problem. Fixing the problem would be very difficult, very, very hard on people who want to move into the county. And even Williamson County has only gone to about $20,000 in impact fees. But this is overdue, in my opinion. And the truth is that if any of us who have lived here for a length of time, and you know, you can appreciate the growth or you can not appreciate the growth, but regardless, the last thing you want to do is subsidize the growth, because in a lot of cases, people don't even want the increased traffic, the increased responsibility, and the fact that we know that we spend more money on services than property taxes accrue, that's a problem as well. Hopefully, we can get more businesses into the county so that we're not shipping 50,000 people outside the county every day of the week to go to work. We can keep those people here. Those taxes would help change the whole structure of the county. So I'm going to be in favor of this. I think we should all be in favor of it because, I mean, every year we give our employees increases in pay. We've never gotten an increase since 1999 in pay on new housing, adequate facilities taxes. So,
fine. Thank you, Mr. Klein. Any questions for David? I know we're at time.
Back in session.
Bring us back into session.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a bunch of mechanics to this. Y'all might want to have me discuss with you or move on, but
I'm fine I'm fine putting this to old business if we need it. For July.
As a matter of fact, I was afraid I'd get y'all so confused, I made a little note sheet, because there's a lot involved in doing this, so, and there's some limiters, and I just want everybody to understand
Personally,
what we're getting into.
My gut, I feel like we need to move to old business for
Okay,
July, give a little bit more time to talk about it, research, because we're just trying to make progress. And so I don't want to rush something, part of that process, if you guys are okay with that.
Yep.
Commissioner Becker?
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with it, and I'm also, between now and then, I wanna learn, like, could we bump it up even more, like, looking at this
We can't, and that's the problem.
on page 186,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, what are you talking about, other, like the
Like,
structure?
comparing us to the other counties.
Right.
Like,
Well, I'm only talking about
Other
that one line
fees.
item, the adequate facility tax, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the other.
Like
Well,
other fees to
I
have.
will give you a
like Williamson says $2 per square foot,
yeah, and that's
but
part
we're
of
capped at 175.
They're under that.
It's their private act from 1987, the only county in the state, which is part of the,
That's
we don't
not
have
how-
parity with them, that's
I
the
got you.
problem. I will give you a bit of good news before we close up here. Marshall had emailed us all, I guess a month or two ago. I got an email, I stuck out to me because last year during budget, we approved a position for adequate facilities tax, somebody to collect this because we increased the percentage on the BVI formula. I can't remember what the name of it is, I'm misstating that, but and that hadn't been increased in a long time. And that, increasing that formula allowed him to hire a position. And now all the cities have abandoned collecting adequate facilities taxes according to Mr. Wright. And so the county, that burden's been placed on the county. And, but because, he said because of us having that position that we funded last year, that they were able to work with Meta and Facebook and collect $750,000, $750,000. Otherwise we would not have had we not had that position. So it definitely, I'm not anyone about growing government, but that seemed like a good deal at the time. And I think that's a good, I'll say praise report, like in church term of we brought in $750,000 that otherwise we would not have gotten had we not been pursuing that and would have lost. So that goes 100% to service school debt that we've incurred, which brings down our debt, which is great. So I was pleased to hear that. But yeah, so no objection. I know we're out of time. We'll move that to old business without objection. So item E will keep. Item F, inmate classification, MOU with TDOC, Sumner County Jail. Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Like, group and improve.
10A through F.
Can somebody tell me what F was again, please?
Annie Nelson, A-N-N-I.
Recognition is remarkable woman
Recognition.
for work with veteran services. There's a national, she went out to like Los Angeles because of it. She was picked by
Channel 2.
She
Channel-
won for our area.
our area. That's for her veteran services work.
So I can get with Jeff as far as the pertinence.
Jeff
Or
Orkey.
You can get with me or Chrissy, because
Yeah.
Okay.
she's got all the information.
I
So we have a
second it.
motion to group and approve. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. So move. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Yeah, Lambert, show your.
How would that work?
Good.
On the impact. Can people who already live here?
No. Oh, yeah. It's not, it's only for new construction.
It's one-time fee.
On-
new
It's one, it's like you're gonna build a new house.
So if I live like where I am now, and I chose to build a house
Oh,
next
you're all
door,
good.
Well,
I
you'd
would
have,
still
you'd
pay.
get that fee, yeah, if you build the house.
Even if
new-
it's already here.
Well, protecting people like that. I mean, I've been here 60 years. I'm not making a new impact on the county. And there are gonna be a lot of people.
But somebody's gonna move into your house. That's what it is.
That's not.
He says he's not making an impact, but somebody's gonna move into his old house.
But I'm not making an impact by the construction.
Services as a new family now. I mean, that's, unfortunately, you can't separate out. I mean, we can discuss more, but I mean, it's like, you're limited to the law. It's a nuclear